I know you love earning travel rewards and cash back, and that's why you're going to love Rakuten. With Rakuten, you can earn cash back on everything you need to book your dream trip, hotels, flights, rental cars, experiences, and more, while still booking through your favorite travel sites. And don't worry, cash back can be earned on top of earning the credit card points and the hotel and airline loyalty points that matter most to you, depending on how you make your booking. Plus, with Rakuten, you can also earn cash back on groceries and other purchases like electronics, pet supplies, and more. And the best part, you can join today for free and start earning cash back on top of your travel rewards. Go to Rakuten.com or get the app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten. Rakuten, the most rewarding way to shop.
This episode is brought to you by TaxAct. Don't do your taxes alone. Join TaxAct's National Admin Night. Admin nights are social gatherings for getting through your to-do list. So get ready for a night of fun, finding deductions, and filing taxes with TaxAct, where you can file your federal and state return for just $49 through April 8. Let's get together and get them over with. Visit taxact.com/admin-night for details.
This episode is brought to you by Fandango. People say fans are too distracted these days, but the truth is, when a great movie hits the screen, you show up, you stay glued, invested, part of the story. And without fans like you, there'd be no cinema magic, no shared moments. So head to Fandango.com to get tickets, stream, or rent or buy top movies and series. Fandango loves fans.
So I believe that these are the 5 steps to success. Anybody in the world, if you follow these 5 steps, that you can have all the success, you can have anything you want.
Whoa, now I know that was a big teaser to deliver on, but I believe Jamie does. That was Jamie Leibert, today's guest. He, along with his wife, Sandra, are the only people attempting to set a world record by doing air sports in every country in the world. And they do come from a difficult past, which they openly discuss, involving incarceration, addiction, group homes. And I'm always interested to learn how people can overcome these situations to go out and fulfill the dream. And so you are aware, there is drug and addiction talk in this episode. You may also hear a dog snoring. I'm sure he'll get over it. But if you hear some snoring, it's not me. It's not my wife. It's not anybody but a little canine friend. And also plenty of other stuff going on in this episode. You're going to hear how to manage anxiety on the road, what the wingsuit experience is like. I mean, have you seen those people that put on the wingsuits and fly through the canyons? And really just a lovely, deep conversation about life and travel. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to get into it now. So buckle up, strap in. Thanks for being here, and welcome to the Zero to Travel podcast, my friend.
You're listening to the Zero to Travel podcast, where we explore exciting travel-based work, lifestyle, and business opportunities, helping you to achieve your wildest travel dreams. And now your host, world wanderer and travel junkie, Jason Moore.
Hey there, it's Jason with ZeroToTravel.com. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out, letting me bring a little travel into your ears today. This is the show to help you travel the world on your terms to fill your life with as much travel as you desire, no matter what your situation or experience. Of course, as I mentioned at the top, we do have Sandra and Jamie here today from CaptainManicorn.com. We'll link up to that in the show notes. Doing something that I've never done, air sports, let alone in every country in the world. And I'm always curious to take in and learn about a lifestyle that I'm not going to live. I'm not going to travel to every country in the world and practice air sports. It's not happening. But that's the wonderful thing about this show. We get to hear those stories and those perspectives. And I think there are a lot of tips here on how to change your perspective, some of the skills needed to overcome challenges, a lot of practical advice in this one. One thing, as you heard at the top, he mentions those 5 steps to fulfilling a dream. But one of those steps contains practical advice around what to do when you've already fulfilled a dream, but those dreams don't make you happy. Some people find themselves in this situation. They go for the career, they finally get the dream job, only to realize it's not what it was made out to be. and they don't like it anymore. So what do you do when you fulfill a dream, but it doesn't make you happy? That's another thing that comes up here, just using that as an example. But plenty to pull out and take away with you through this conversation. So I hope you enjoy it. Stick around on the back end. I'll leave you with a nice quote to wrap this up. Now, here's my conversation with Jamie and Sandra, and I'll see you on the other side, my friend. Thanks for listening.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? Buddies? New buddies?
That was a fucking hell of a mission to pull this off. We tried our asses off to get to you, but the Norwegian seas are not fucking around this time of the year. It was hectic. It was hectic.
You were literally trying to sail into the harbor and you're just getting blown back? I mean, what happened?
Essentially, because of the corner, because of where Oslo is at, you have the open sea just creates these waves coming all the way down, and they just build up the whole way. So we had to wait until there was a wind coming from the north to not make such big waves for us to make the push around the corner. Mm-hmm. But there was just such a storm.
It's timing the waves and the weather and the wind and the storms and trying to find the windows to be able to move.
Because if the wind comes from the south at all, it's fucking treacherous. Huge waves just slamming us into the walls. So we have to wait until it's like coming from the south or from the west, northwest is like optimum. And there just wasn't that many days of that. And when there was a good day, it was time to push hard. So that was
I mean, I kind of expected that you guys would just like see a big wave and like pull some surfboards off of the boat or something and just ride them into the harbor. Isn't that?
Yeah, well, that's where
like
we were at.
Extreme sports people, right?
Yeah. Sailing's extreme. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level because it's extreme sports. I mean, it's, when you're jumping off a cliff or paragliding, I mean, it lasts for a couple minutes, right? And it's over. But when you're sailing, it's just like it's such a long suffering process that it just seems like it's never going to end. So it's a whole nother level of seeing what you're made out of.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into it all today. I should officially welcome you guys to the Zero to Travel podcast on with Jamie and Sandra from CaptainManicorn.com. We'll link to all this stuff. You guys are trying to set a world record by being the first people to fly a parachute in every country in the world. I think there's a lot more to the story than that. But anyway, we're going to get into it today. So welcome to the Zero to Travel podcast, my friends.
Yeah, honored to be here. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, well, all of that you just said was, us trying to do this in person on the sailboat, which I was really excited about because you're like, yeah, well, you can come by, do a tour of the boat, we'll record a podcast. And that sounds great. Just give me an excuse to get out of my loft and into the harbor, but couldn't make it happen. So where are you guys now?
Welcome to sailing, buddy. That's sailing. There was so many places and adventures that I wanted to go on this summer that I couldn't because of being on a sailboat. So you got to experience a little bit of the pain and suffering with us. Sandra's been practicing saying the name of where we're at.
The hard part of traveling sometimes is when people say, "Where are you?" And we move so fast and we go to all these amazing places. Half the time I can't pronounce them. So I wanted to make sure I said it correctly. We are in Germany about to visit Neuschwanstein.
That was really good.
Neuschwanstein.
That was really good.
I have a little, how do you even say it on my phone open? We're going to be heading there tomorrow. It's a famous castle. We have something kind of cool planned.
Yeah, Germany's really strict about wingsuiting and all that. So I'm glad this podcast will be out after I do this stunt. But essentially, I'm taking a paraglider, which is a big wing, and we're going to exit off of a mountain, fly over the castle. I'll be in a wingsuit in my base rig, and I'll be jumping from his paraglider and flying, feet from the towers of this castle tomorrow. So we're here getting ready for that. Just nothing special, nothing really big happening. Just another day.
Is that like an illegal jump? Is that why you're saying this will be out later? Because you have to sometimes do this stuff on the DL or...
In our podcast, we have a disclaimer that things that we say may or may not be true due to limited
citations.
So I wouldn't say it's illegal on camera. I would say that it's forbidden. And there's a gray area, and we're dancing in the gray area.
There's been many times, though, where because we're traveling, we show up somewhere and we're like, this is an amazing place. For example, Meteora in Greece, they have these amazing cliffs. We saw them.
With monasteries at the top.
With monasteries. I mean, they've been there for so long. And we're like, how cool would it be to jump off and fly off the top of them? So we found a spot that we could actually jump off the cliffs. Jamie jumped and I flew off. When we got to the bottom, we're celebrating, we're giving high fives.
Well, we were a bit obnoxious. When the canopies opened and we're safe in the air, we're like, woo, yeah, which is like the cardinal rule not to do. And when we had got to town to order some coffees, we were like, yeah, we were excited. They're like, what are you guys doing in town? We're like, we're jumping off monasteries. They're like, we heard you guys. We're like, I don't know the profanity level of the show, but it was like, fuck, not good. So I was like, okay. They're like, yeah, so it's forbidden. And usually they take your gear and all that. So a lot of the times we ask locals, but sometimes there's like this gray area. I've gone off paragliding sites in Montenegro. I've been arrested and told it was forbidden to fly there. And I was like, but I went with the locals. And
that was accidental. The winds were very bad in Coder Bay, and he ended up getting blown back. And the only place he could land was this big jetty that kind of went out into the middle of the bay. Little did he know that's where the cruise ships come in, and it was actually international waters. So they didn't quite know what to do with him, but in paragliding, you are allowed to land if it's an emergency landing, which I think that classified as one.
But the truth be told, I wanted to land there. It was super sick. It jetted out like
Jamie, it was emergency landing.
Emergency landing is what I told the government. But think about it. It's like you're in this bay, and I know the cruise ships land there, and it shoots out like 2,000-3,000 feet, like this long harbor, right? Pretend like, and there's water on both sides, and I'm like, dude, how epic would it be? It's only like 30 feet wide. Like, how epic would it be if I could like land straight down on this thing coming out of the air? Mm-hmm. And I'd looked at it for days, and I was like, okay, the winds are perfect. Let's try it. And when I landed there, I thought, I did it. This is fantastic. I threw my wing over my shoulder. I'm like getting ready to walk. And all of a sudden I approach these gates. I'm like, I'm like waving to the guys, and they're like, no. Took my passport, detained me. It was, I had to talk to like the head admin of the entire state of aviation. And basically at the end of it, he said, look, you're not an asshole. I don't think you did anything dangerous or intentional. So he let me go, and there was no reprimand. But
just another day in the life of traveling full-time adventure sports.
No kidding. We always had this saying when I was on tour, because we were always doing things in the gray areas, and it was better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, that's pretty much our lives motto.
Yeah. I agree 100% with that. We're pirates. We're straight up pirates and modern day pirates. So for us, it's catch me if you can.
Yeah.
I'll keep it real.
Well, I mean, when you guys talk about doing air sports in every country, so the wingsuit is one thing, right? Where you've seen that videos, if you're listening, where people are...
They call it a squirrel suit. People like a squirrel suit is what everybody knows. You fly those squirrel suits, that's what they call it.
Are you doing any parachute type sport? And sometimes it's wingsuit, sometimes it's paragliding, sometimes it's jumping out of planes and skydiving. What's the deal?
Yeah, everything you just said. No. So the record is to do air sports in every country of the world. Now, the air sports that I'm doing, so a parachute by definition is a piece of fabric designed to slow your descent to Earth. So that's the definition of a parachute. But I'm also flying a speed wing, which is not slowing me down. It's a very small wing. It goes very fast. So it's called speed flying. That's one form of a parachute, I guess. But it's more of a paraglider, small paraglider. The second one we're doing is paragliding, obviously, which is designed to go up. So that's the second record. The third record is skydiving, which is out of an airplane, or by definition, Sandra's a paraglider or a hot air balloon.
Sometimes there's no planes in the country we go to,
right?
So we have
Helicopters.
To get a little creative.
We're creative. The fourth one is base jump, where I'm jumping with a base rig off of a mountain, off of bases. Obviously, bridge and tennis span Earth. Those are the acronyms for base.
Mm-hmm.
So
much lower objects.
Much lower.
And it does in a.
And I have no reserve.
Has two parachutes. You have a backup. Base jumping only has one parachute, so you get one go at it.
Yeah, all airplanes require you by FAA to have a reserve, something that if the first one malfunctions, you have a secondary. Mm-hmm. But my favorite record is obviously the wingsuiting, because that's my passion, is to wingsuit. So
and paramotoring.
And paramotoring, which is obviously the big motor strapped to my back with a paraglider above my head. So
big fan. I'm
trying to tackle literally all air sports in every country. It's kind of my way of giving back to like aviation. It's my passion. It's my love. And to do it in every country, I can't tell you the logistics that go into that, because they're all different sports. They all take different, logistics, and the level that I'm doing them has took me 10 years to train for to get where I'm at. So it's mind blowing if you really think about it. There's 96 countries times 6 different disciplines. So
doing all 6 of those in every country, or that's what you're...
Yeah, bro. That's the goal.
How many have you done so far?
About 55 countries.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And some of them we haven't done all of them. Sometimes weather, sometimes there's no plains, sometimes there's no cliffs. So it's give or take. The record that we're trying to set universally is to do air sports in every country of the world. So as long as we do one of those air sports,
Okay.
that's what's considered part of the record. Sandra obviously doesn't paramotor. She doesn't wingsuit. She doesn't base jump. So Sandra is speed flying, paragliding, and skydiving. So she's doing those three. And her goal is to be the first woman to obviously skydive in every country of the world, to paraglide in every country of the world. But if she can't, or to have the most of those in the world. But I think it's maybe important for the listeners to realize, though, that it's really not important that we ever reach this record. For us, it was, I guess, giving something of such great importance, like to be like Christopher Columbus or Leif Erikson. We want to explore, like, doing something original is hard to find anymore. Like being the first to do something in today's society with internet and everything, that's possible. It's really hard to be the first to do something. So we are not in a hurry. The minimum that we spend per country is 1 month. We have a rule. We will not spend less than 1 month in each country. I think there was a guy that you interviewed, Graham Hughes. We love him. Super inspiring. But his record was to do it the fastest possible. And for us, overlanding. For us, we're the opposite of that. We want to take as long as possible per country. We're doing, to skydive, it takes a weekend. To paraglide, it takes a couple days. To do wingsuiting, to do base jumping, we have to immerse into local cultures. We have to find the locals. I don't know, the locations or logistics how to do these when we arrive in most countries. So there's a lot of research in advanced people knowing who we are by now, knowing that we're coming to their country. And then it's like we meet the first group of people, and then the hospitality is insane. Then they organize for us to meet the next group and the next group. And then it literally takes a country worth of people
with similar passions
to help us achieve this. And we stay at their houses. We stay by rivers. We're off the beaten path. We actually hate cities. So we're always in the nature, by rivers, by lakes and the mountains, paragliding sites like that. So for us, this is a 15-year goal. But I tell people, what would you do after this? What's your goal after this record? What do you mean? I just,
And we're very, very goal oriented. So in years ago, when we started traveling full time, we were just traveling around and flying, and it didn't really have if we don't have a goal, we kind of just want, we're like a fish with missing a fin, right? We kind of just go in circles, don't know what we're doing. But by creating a goal for ourselves, all of a sudden, if we didn't get through a border before, it was like, we'll just go around it. Now it became a mission. We had to find a way to get through that border. It had to happen. And it created so much excitement and adventure. So it's always lots of trauma, always something trying to stop us. And it gave us purpose to be able to push through the obstacles. So it really helped kind of develop our goal from a mental standpoint.
So what she's saying is it gave us obstacles to overcome daily, that we have to try to face and deal with our obstacles daily. Yeah, that's real. That's true.
Where did you guys meet?
Great story. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we actually met in Southern California, where we're both from. At the time, I was actually working at a bar, and I was, safe to say, full-blown alcoholic at this time. I was being a bartender and an alcoholic is not a good mix.
Two DUIs.
Let me tell you, after just having gone 2 DUIs, so safe to say that I was at a very low point in my life. And one day, this fully tattooed guy walked into my bar, and I was like, wow, he looks like trouble. That's just what I need in my life. I could definitely use more chaos, another bad boy in my life. And I told him to come back and visit me, and I saw him actually later as well at a club that was nearby. But to be honest,
I don't drink though.
He didn't drink at this time because he had just gotten out of prison, so he was completely sober.
Yeah, and I was training for MMA 6 to 7 hours a day. I was just fighting and training 7 days a week.
So I told him to come back again to my bar, bring some friends. I'd love to, meet him a little more. And he came, I think, a few days later. And there was a very distinct moment that I remember that essentially made me fall in love with him
Now,
instantly.
it's not that important to Norwegians. Remember that, because this is normal behavior in Norway. Only in America is. So when you tell this for the viewers, in America, this is not normal.
I don't think it's normal anywhere.
All right, well, you tell it and we'll see. Let them be the judge.
So I was in front. Him and his friend sat in front of the spigots where you pull down and the beer comes out, the beer spouts. And apparently I had taken too long to pour a second beer for one of his friends.
Horrible bartender.
And,
Wait, if it was a Guinness, that's okay. You're supposed to take your time. But
yeah, no, it wasn't. It didn't have Guinness.
No,
this is a famous Dave. No, this is like a famous Dave's barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
I went there for lunches. So this is like Heineken's and Budweiser's. This was not a classy place.
You drink them fast because they're $2 before 8 o'clock type of place.
Yeah.
And apparently I was taking a little bit too long. And what Jamie did was he grabbed his friend's glass. He reached his arm around to put it on the inside of the bar in front of the spigot right in front of him. And he pushed the spigot forward and proceeded to pour his friend's beer himself. My manager saw this and he lost his mind. He says, "Who are your friends?" He's pouring his own beer. This is absolutely not acceptable. And all I could think to myself was, who does that? And I need to know him. I need to make him part of my life because that is great. And that kind of set the stage for, I guess you can say that was almost 12 years ago. And I still think to myself all the time, who does that?
Daily, I do things that make you say that.
Yeah, who does that?
I do. Yeah.
We'll get back to the interview in just a moment. I know you love earning travel rewards and cash back, and that's why you're going to love Rakuten. With Rakuten, you can earn cash back on everything you need to book your dream trip, hotels, flights, rental cars, experiences, and more, while still booking through your favorite travel sites. And don't worry, cash back can be earned on top of earning the credit card points and the hotel and airline loyalty points that matter most to you, depending on how you make your booking. Plus, with Rakuten, you can also earn cash back on groceries and other purchases like electronics, pet supplies, and more. And the best part, you can join today for free and start earning cash back on top of your travel rewards. Go to Rakuten.com or get the app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten. Rakuten, the most rewarding way to shop.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. You can add protein cold foam to your favorite drink or try one of our new protein lattes or matcha. Try it today at Starbucks.
Now, back to the show. Jamie, I saw on your old Twitter, I'm not sure if it's active, not the Captain Manicorn one, but the other one, you said you got a second chance at life. And so let's hear a little bit about what you meant by that.
So I guess a second chance at life. So I think I was watching a movie with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, and it's called Awakenings. And I guess Robert De Niro suffers from a disease. And essentially that disease puts him into sleep for 30 years. Okay. So, and then eventually he gets Robin Williams gives him a medication. And the best way I can think about it is up until I was 24, I grew up in group homes. I grew up kind of troubled homes. Definitely, a lot of problems. It led to obviously becoming addicted to meth, shooting meth, guns, prostitution, drug trafficking, firearms. It led to this kind of just chaos of a life. I ended up getting arrested at 24, and I got sent to prison for 5-year sentence. So I kind of correlate back to the movie. Essentially, I was asleep. Like I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't grateful for anything that I had. I was abusing what one life I had. I was having a hell of a run. Don't get me wrong. The things I just said, trust me, they are insane, and it was awesome, and it was a rush. But when I had got to prison, essentially I was in the SHU, which is segregation. I was a little bit violent of an individual. So I was in the SHU for a couple months, and there was a moment where I remember counting the air pockets of on the white silica or the stucco paint on the brick wall above, on a cell that I could reach both walls if I put my arms out, sleeping on a thin mattress, no sheets, no pillows, no entertainment, no nothing for months, getting fed through a hole in the wall. And I had realized that I had gone down as far as that road that I wanted to. And so I had to go and make that decision that I wanted to see how far I could go the other way. And at that point, I'm fully tattooed. I'm a violent convict in prison. I'm involved in gang stuff. And essentially I had to make a decision to get help, because I knew what the problem was. I knew that growing up, I was diagnosed bipolar. I was diagnosed depression. I had depression. I was diagnosed ADHD, prescribed Ritalin. Obviously I sold that, snorted it, that whole thing growing up. So I knew what the problems were, because I've been told by every doctor and everybody I ever met. The one thing in life that people are willing to do is tell you what's wrong with you. So I've been told a lot. So I sought out a therapist in prison, and we spent months going through my problems and what's going on. And I had told him, I said, I know what's wrong with me, but I don't know how to change it. And I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to be the person that I want to be. And what we learned was that I didn't know how to learn. School for me being ADHD, I was in special ed classes. I was in, very learning disability programs, the short bus, if you will. Like I took the short bus to school for sure. Kids, there would be 4 or 5 kids in each of my classes. I was, such disciplinary or, behavioral modification programs that I just learning. They didn't care about teaching me. They just wanted me to be in school and not cause mayhem for 8 hours a day was their primary goal. So, you never really learn how to learn in that environment, English, math, science, all of these educational things that you guys, most people, are able to go to class. You listen to the teacher, you get homework, you do the homework, and now you've got a bit of knowledge. I just didn't have that, because their job was to just, lots of detentions. You guys get it by now. I was out of control. And all rights to be, right? I'm in group homes. I'm a kid. I'm going through the hardest time of your life, hitting puberty. You're dealing with sexuality. You're dealing with being bullied. You're dealing with all of this shit at home. And then you're going to school and you're dealing with more shit. And it will rack havoc on anybody's mind, because you're not happy at home. You're not happy at school. So where is it that you find, so you act out, like you have to try to find your niche of your space, of your area. So for me, it was drugs. I would just do so many drugs. I would just be in Neverland. And hence, mushrooms and LSD and heroin and crack and meth and shooting up. And that was how I checked out. And that's what led me to prison. So now I'm with this therapist and he's saying, look, you want this. This is your goal. Okay, but you're over here, and to get to that goal, you can't have both of these lives. You can't be a rock star anymore and have this life of success. It's not going to work. It just doesn't work. And I fought that, for another year of prison. I fought that. I said, I can have both. I can do both. He said, no, you can't. You're full of shit. And, honestly, we know more than the therapist, right? So we started small, and it was every day I had to learn how to learn. So I would sit down for 1 minute. I would sit and I would have to focus. I'd sit down for 2 minutes. I'd sit down for 3 minutes. I'd sit down for 5 minutes. And if at any time I couldn't accomplish that, I would start over. Now, guys, remember, that seems like a crazy analogy, but remember, I had years ahead of me. So for me, time, is the one thing that I had plenty of. I had years ahead of me. So, 1 minute turned into 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to where it could sit for 60 minutes. They say that the average human really can't focus more than 60 minutes anyways. So that was my objective to get there. And I could do it at lockdown at lunch, and I could do it lockdown at dinner time. And then I got into taking the psychology test, the Rorschach test, the IQ test. We started doing all of these different things. And there was one after, I think, about 7 months of therapy. And now I'm annoying this guy. I'm knocking on his door twice a week. Like I'm intrigued. I'm getting into new parts of my mind. I'm exploring an unknown universe, if you will, like, who I am. And, so we do all these tests. They take months, and they're rigorous, right? These, the IQ test and the Rorschachs and all that, they're really weird too. So one day, he calls me in and says, okay, I have the results. You should sit down for this. And I'm like, okay, how bad is it? How fucked up am I? Okay. And now you have to remember that when you have all of these problems and you grow up in group homes and you grow up being told you're broken, that's the first thing you use as an excuse. If you steal something, hey, I'm broken. If you hurt somebody, like a fight, or you get in trouble, hey, I'm broken. It's part of the package. You know what I mean? So that was my mantra, like, Jamie fucked up again. That's okay. He's broken. right? So you go through that like almost like a chemical dependency where you're depending on those diagnoses to be able to justify your actions of being an asshole, essentially. So we're sitting there and he's like, okay, sit down. I'm like, okay, give it to me. How bad is it? And he goes, well, I'm going to tell you that, there's nothing wrong with you. And, like silence, just like this awkward silence. I'm just waiting for him to like, what's the punchline, bud? You know what I mean? And he goes, no, Jamie, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have ADHD. You're not depressed. You're not bipolar. Your IQ is actually insane. And you scored at like 99%. And some of these like pattern recognition and some of these other things that are just insane. He goes, there's nothing wrong with you. And it was like this really like, you could almost, I think if like you could see, like there was like this, my eyes turn white, like just my face goes blank. And I'm waiting for something like like it was almost like a reset button, like a reboot, like someone held down Control Command Escape. And I look at him and I say, so what you're saying is I'm accountable for my own actions. He's like, yes. I'm like, oh man. So now that moment, I couldn't blame anybody. I couldn't blame my parents. I couldn't blame my grandparents. I couldn't blame anybody anymore. And that was the moment that I got a second chance. That was my freedom. That was, if I'm bringing it back full circle with the movie Awaken with Robin Williams, he's upset. The patient who has the disability, who's been asleep for 30 years, he's getting upset at everybody for wasting their life. They're wasting what gift they have. He can't control himself. He's upset and he says, he wants people to live. And that's the second chance I have. I came out of prison with this drive, this ambition to see how far I can push my own limits, my own mind. The truth is, the only thing that will be the first to explore for all of us is our own mind, our own imagination. It's the best gift we have. You can go as far down, as creative as you want to be in your own mind. If somebody's already climbed Mount Everest, it's okay. I can build a bigger mountain. I could do more in my own mind. I can go to the moon, the stars, the outer space. I can create whatever I want. But I had to learn how to do that. And prison was my catapult, the pivotal point. For me, it's simple. There's before prison and there's after prison. That's it. That's my life story. And that was my second chance.
Wow.
Well put, babe.
I mean, statistically, I guess that's
86% return back to prison. So the recidivism rate in America is 86%. So that means like 9 out of every 10 people. Then you take it and say, so you have 14% left. How many of those people actually can hold down a job? They actually have become successful or start their own business or start a nonprofit or travel the world or do anything of what I'm doing.
Or fly a parachute in every country
of the world.
I think there's one.
Yeah. How many people are in the world? 1 in 8 billion. That's the statistics of what I'm doing.
How many years ago did you get out?
12 years. I met Sandra 6 months after I got out of prison. So 12.2 years, 12.5 years.
Okay. And, coming out, I mean, you have the idea and the drive and the motivation and this total revelation, it sounds like. But was there, in practicality, any temptations along the way to kind of go back the other way? Like, I'm sure, or was it that clean cut? Like, you're just like, hey, this is my new life and that old life is essentially dead.
No. I wish it was that. I suffer from PTSD, but people go to the military and they do bad things and we hurt people, they hurt people, and you suffer from these things. No one walks away from military, prison, or anything of that caliber without some sort of mental problems. And mine were quite a many. No. And then we, after about 4 years, we started a color run company and we made, I think like $3.7 million our first year. Now I've been poor my whole life, food stamps. I'm a swindler. I'm a hustler, all those things. It's true. And when you give somebody, who's been basically, I use the analogy, imagine a fire hydrant. Someone's got their hand on this fire hydrant their whole life. And all of a sudden you give somebody $3.7 million. There's no amount of hand that can stop that pressure. So I got back into, partying, skydiving, doing all these air sports, traveling the world, but doing it on cocaine and Molly and just, whatever I could dream up. And I have a good imagination. I was doing. And whatever your imagination is at home is probably worse than that. But I don't know that we're going to keep it PG-13 today. So no, there was actually I've had a lot.
Keep it real, man.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
No, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, my man. It's the truth. You know, I'm completely tattooed. I'm a bright star. I like to make a lot of noise, and I whatever people can dream of on a road trip or an adventure. I mean, there was no amount of possibilities that I couldn't achieve, because at the end of the day, money talks. And if they won't let you into a club, money talks. You want to get on a boat, you want drugs, you want women, you want parties, you want whatever it is. Like, I would just buy everybody's drugs, and then I would give them all to my friends. Right. So I was actually going down another bad, deep rabbit hole. And Sandra and I decided it was my birthday, and we had just got back from this tour with my parents, and we had just been doing so many drugs again that we were like both a little fucked in the head, like having like twitches and stuff. And it was like, we were snorting Molly and cocaine, and we were in parties. Like, it was bad. Okay. And I was like, hey, you know, like, and Sandra's an alcoholic, full blown alcoholic. I don't care about alcohol. I like hard drugs. Sandra likes alcohol. So I was like, hey babe, maybe we should go sober for a couple months. Like, I'm fucked up.
You said 6 months.
Yeah. I was like, I'm fucked up. Like, I feel like I'm going to be that next rock star who ODs, or I'm going to be, you know, like, I see what my dreams are. And I can tell you right now that we're not going to reach them because I can't function. Like, it's turning from like weekends and weekend recreation to, you know, like I can't function anymore. And Sandra fought me on it.
So you said 6 months, and to think about going without a beer for 6 months at this time, it was just mind blowing. I couldn't comprehend it. So I was like, well, I'll do a month with you. So he kind of laughed at my offer. He's like, a month? But to me, that seemed like so long. I said, okay, let's try 3 months. So we agreed we're going to go 3 months, no drinking, no drugs, clean slate. We were starting a new company, and we didn't want any
excuses.
We didn't want the reason that it didn't succeed to be because we were drinking or partying on the weekends. We wanted to give it our all. And that 3 months ended up turning into 4 years.
For you.
4 years.
For you. I did, you know, periodically I'll do a little bit of mushrooms or LSD. I like whiskey here and there and some German beers, but I have rules. I don't touch powders anymore. I don't do meth, coke, or heroin or any of that different stuff. But I didn't want to travel the world and be able to go to these most glorious places and not have a glass of wine, or not be able to go to some of the best parties and not.
We essentially took the control back. So we had given the control up to the drugs and the alcohol, and the 3 months, it just kept going because it felt good. And we were, at first, after a year, I mean, to be honest, I was scared. I was like, if I start drinking again, will I go back to where I was at before? I mean, it was to the point where
we were going to break up.
When I would look for somewhere to go eat, for example, I had to make sure that they had beer there, because otherwise I wouldn't want to go there. I mean, it was all consuming. And I was afraid that if I even started drinking a little bit, I didn't want that to be in the back of my mind all the time of, okay, now I'm going to have to battle this. It was just easier.
Or hide it from me.
Or hide it. Yeah. So I was like, I'll just, you know, it's easier just to say, no, I don't drink. After about 3 years, Jamie was at a place where he was like, oh, I feel confident. I feel in control, and I want to have a drink once in a while. So then he started to my
goal was never to be sober the rest of my life. My goal, like my, you know, learning disabilities, was to get a handle on it. Like, it's an anomaly. Like, you're not supposed to, everybody go to the barbershop, you're going to do it, but it shouldn't have that much pressure over anybody. Like, I can't go every day like, oh, I'm an addict. If I have one drink, I'm fucked. I'm going to, you know, party. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going back to prison. That to me was not for everybody, but for me, that was weakness. To let a drug or alcohol have that power over me was something I couldn't live with in itself, right? So I'd already overcome prison. I already overcome all of this. I'm not going to get beaten by addiction. That's not an excuse for me. So I proved it now. I don't care about alcohol. I don't care about drugs. I don't care about any of that, because my passion for living, my passion for what we're doing is so strong that I don't want to be hungover the next morning. I don't want to miss one adventure because I was, you know, drinking the night before. Now, granted, if we're all together, you and I, or friends, and we know that there's a storm coming, that there's going to be rain the next day, and there is no chance of us going out to do anything fun, that's when I'll get a little drunk, or that's when I'll take some hallucinogenics, microdose or something like that, because I know that there's no fear of missing an adventure. That's how passionate I am about adventures.
Yeah, it becomes about, you know, what the priorities are, essentially.
Yeah. So you've been able to kind of dip your toes in, I guess, as part of the travel experience, but not go completely the other way. At least that's how it's been the last years.
I've already gone the other way. So I've already traveled to most parts of the world. I've already done a couple loops around the world while partying. So I've already done more than most should ever do. I like to use the analogy. If partying was an Olympic sport, I'm a 3-time gold medalist, retired.
Right.
Okay. And I would challenge anybody in the world to that statement. I didn't go to prison because I was a fun, good looking boy. I went to prison because I had an addiction and I like to do hood rat shit with my friends. And they gave me a long sentence. So I'm good at, I'm not good at being a criminal, but I was good at one thing, that was partying. So, being rich, well, I wasn't rich. Being, whatever the expression is, I had a couple million in my pocket, and being able to travel the world with that mentality of partying, I did that. I check gold medal, retired.
What was the company where the company started, where the 3.5 million came, or 3.7?
Color Fun Fest was the company. We originally, when I got out of prison, we were doing photography for extreme sports, and that was our passion. I met a guy named Scott Davis, who was the owner of Hangtown, which is a famous motocross track in California. And he gave me an opportunity, after working with him, showing, my work ethics. He gave me an opportunity to be an event director for his run, Mud Factor. I was very transparent in the beginning, and I said, look, man, I obviously want my own run. I want my own business. This is what I want. And he says, well, I appreciate your honesty. Let's work together. Give me everything you have, and I'll teach you how to run a business. So I worked my ass off for this guy, and he did. He taught me. I was the director, the manager. Actually got fired once, got brought back on. He smoothed it all out. And then eventually at the end of the year, I said, look, man, this is how much money I want to make. It's really expensive to live in California. I need to make this much money. He said, I can't do that. He goes, but I give you my blessing. I think it's time for you to start finding your own thing. And I did. Sandra was my partner, and we put out 100 resumes to people. There was a guy named Jerry in Texas who said, fly out here, show me what you can do for this event. I flew to Texas. It was like a job interview. And he said, okay, I'll tell you what, you pack your house up and you move to Texas, and you can do this within 1 week. I'll give you half this company. And at the end of the year, I'll give you an option to buy me out. Now, I had a house, everything like that. I had my brother living with us. This girl, Waffles, living on the couch. Like, we were trying to, we were hustling and trying to do our own thing. We literally reneged on our lease and put everything into a U-Haul. Had to borrow $1,000 from our parents to get the vehicle out there. We're on food stamps. Moved to Texas. We're all staying in a house together. Sandra, we lied and said that she could do the marketing, and she lost like $60,000 the first couple of months of marketing money. And then all of a sudden something happened, and our first event was in Phoenix, and we had 6,000 people. Then all of a sudden the run started growing. It was like the perfect era where fun runs were just blossoming. It was in the beginning. We had the first night color run. So imagine like 10,000 people. We've got a stadium full of black lights and lasers, and people are throwing colored powder in the air, and it's glowing, and we're DJing, and we're music, an average day would be like 40,000 in parking. So you do the math, right? So we were doing 20 of these a year, and that was all we were doing, just banging these things out. And we lit, it just got insane really quick. We went from food stamps to filet mignon and whatever you can dream of.
It was actually the organizing the events that had put us on the path to traveling.
Yeah.
And when we were at this point in our lives where we owned this event and we were organizing events every week, what Jamie failed to mention was that it didn't matter how much money was in the account. I remember there were days where I was so stressed. I started to have chest pains, and I was like, I don't know if maybe I have like a heart problem or I ended up being told that it was just anxiety and it was just stress. And Jamie was he was the most unhappy that I'd ever seen him.
Overweight.
He was overweight, and he was trying to feel this happiness. He was buying skydiving rigs, and he was traveling around. But we were both probably the emptiest that we had ever felt. And I realized that by having this office, and in Texas, it wasn't that great for outdoor activities like we liked. There was no mountains, there's no climbing. So we were always indoors in a house, terrible weather. We're from California, used to good weather. And I realized that something had to change. So I told Jamie, we cannot be flying out to these events every week. We would fly out to an event.
We were home for 2 days.
Come home for 2 days, barely have enough time to wash the clothes, if we even had that much time, before we were back on a plane out to the next event. And I told Jamie that I think that we need to take this to the road. I think we need to travel from event to event as long as we can space them enough that we can drive an RV. And I think that we need to make this mobile.
Because I already had 3 trucks on the road. We had all of our equipment kept go. So our company was moving from city to city. And because we were so poor, mentality before, I used to do circles around LA, San Bernardino, like around California. I could only travel so far. That was like your range. So what our mentality was, let's book events places where we want to go do adventures. So we would book it in Alaska and Florida, and then we would go there and go on, we'd stay extra time so that the company was paying for us to be there and paid for all the equipment to be there. And then I had both my brothers, my mom, my dad, Sandra, her mom would come. Like we hired, we had a whole crew, and 3 trucks.
And it planted, that was essentially when we closed down our house. We moved out. We had so much furniture, so many things. We just gave them away to friends. I think some of it sat in storage that eventually
just walked away from it.
I don't even know if the company had paid it. I don't know. We cut the ties and we realized it wasn't working. As Jamie says, we step 5 and we did something different.
Step 5, yeah.
And since then we haven't had a normal life since then. And that was the catapult of what put us into being a nomad. And by traveling around, I guess what you can say is that everybody has the dream to travel full time, right? And to make money from it, right? I want to do that.
Me
but
too.
How do I do that? And people ask us that a lot too. Like, how do you guys travel full time and make money?
I guess
and
let's pause that. So that's a great time to tell you that we had made 3.7 million, but I had spent 4.2 million.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So it's very important for the viewers to not think that we did the rest of this with any money. Okay. We are not responsible. Do not do as we do. Do as we say, but just do it your own way. That's not going to put you in credit card debt.
Yeah. We didn't have I
had no skills.
The training. I spent most of my teenage years in behavior modification programs as well in upstate New York, Montana. I didn't have the normal childhood in that sense, just as Jamie, I suppose you could say. So I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't have a skill. I couldn't even finish the math classes in community college. Could even barely hold down a job. That's why when I met Jamie, it's kind of like the low pinnacle. But when we both knew we wanted to travel, obviously wanted to make money, and trying to figure out how to do that. I guess it's kind of the best analogy I can think of is like if you want a pizza, right? Like let's say you want a pizza.
The universe.
Let's say you want a pizza and you want a really good pepperoni and pineapple pizza. The universe is not just going to give you a pizza, right? You want to travel and make money. The universe is going to be like, okay, here you go. Here's your dream, right? What the universe is going to do is that's going to give you some flour and maybe it's going to give you a whole pineapple and then maybe like a raw chunk of ham, and you got to know how, like, I don't even know how to cook this thing. And then, okay, I'll figure it out, right? And maybe it'll give you a couple tomatoes and it'll give you some fresh basil.
It'll give you the ingredients.
It'll give you everything that you need.
Right.
And it's up to you to do the work to put it together. And all the experiences that we've been through before are all of the ingredients that we needed to make our dream happen. And the piece that's missing for us is that we wanted to travel and make money.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking. I was like,
we wanted to travel and we wanted to make money. But we realized that there was a piece that was missing in that. And that was that it had to have more of a purpose, right? If you're not making the world a better place, then what are you really doing? Right. So for us, our dream became to travel, to be able to make a living from it while inspiring other people to do the same in their lives. Right. So that for us is our pizza. And the ingredients to make that was all of the trauma that we had to go through. Me, myself, my father had threatened to kill our family when I was 11 years old and we had to live in battered women's shelter. He proceeded to kill himself when I was 12 years old and said that he didn't want our family to get any of it. I was addicted to meth by the time I was 18 years old, to the point where I was seeing shadows. I could barely function. The recipe is there for a lot of struggle and adversity, but being able to push through that is what hopefully inspires people. Our previous businesses help teach us that it doesn't matter how much money is in your account. It's not going to make you happy. It can, what did I say? Money doesn't make you happy. It lets you choose your misery, right?
Okay, but let's clarify. All of my businesses have failed. I have not had a successful. The Color Fun Fest did not end great. We have a nonprofit called Just Care More, and our mission statement was to create inspirational videos. That is the only thing that has not failed. We've never paid ourselves from it. And I think that's why it's never failed, because it was a passion. True. We do it for the love to give back. And that's what she's talking about. That was the one good thing I did when we had all of the money, was start a nonprofit. And we work with foster kids. We bought a ranch in San Diego. And the goal of this ranch was to bring foster kids to teach them skills like to use a saw, to make a fire, to build outhouses, all of the skills that city kids don't have. The basic human necessities, like you people underestimate it, but the only thing that we really need is food and shelter. And you have to get a job to pay for those two things, because most people, we can't, in the city, you can't grow your own food, and you can't just steal someone's house and live in it, right? You have to buy your own piece of land. So my goal was to take kids like me and Sandra and bring them to Freedom Land, which is the name of our ranch. And I wanted to spend a week at a time teaching kids how to use power tools, like trade school, but kind of a Manicorn version of that, where, I would incorporate, we would have long talks by the fire. And basically, kids are the most honest people there that there are. So me going through everything I went through, Sandra going through everything that she went through, it was really cool for us to be around, kids of similar nature, because I would just call them on their bullshit, because I knew their lies. I knew their hustle. I'm a liar. I'm a hustler. I'm a thief. I'm a criminal.
But they actually respected what you said. And we still get messages on our Instagram.
Yeah, I still talk to all of them
to this day. And, when you work with foster kids, you don't know if what you're doing makes an impact. And sometimes it has that doubt, like, okay, I'm going to see this kid a few times and have a conversation and teach him how to make a fire. But does that really change his life? And then we would get messages from kids, and it still remember to this day what he told them. Versus if a counselor tells you something, the kids are gonna, laugh at them. But so when we were in America, that was one of our favorites, was working with the foster kids.
So bringing it full circle to what Sandra was saying, that none of our businesses so far have financially been successful. And we had started a second run called the Inflatable Run. And we thought that the money was going to be just as easy to make, but the times had changed, and the economy changed and things were happening. And it took us 2 years to break even from our investment on the Inflatable Run. And what the catapult was to all of this was, I said, okay, look, we're not in debt. We've paid all of our bills. This company is okay. I'm going to go to Norway for a couple months. I need to clear my head. I need to do some wingsuiting, some base jumping.
For time reference, this was
2019.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a month, and I'll come back and we'll launch year 3.
I'll finish up all the books. I'll make sure everything's taken care of on the company.
I need a break. I just built 2 years focusing every day building in the ranch. I needed time. I had built a business. We had been on 40 more events. I was wrecked. My fucking mind was toast. I was not happy. My back was on fire. Like, I was not in good mental or physical shape. I was not happy. So in 2019, I left for Norway. And I was a good athlete at the time, though. That's the one thing. I was skydiving all the time and doing those things. So I was invited to be on Team One Call, which is like one of the, actually, One Call, because you're from Norway. So it's a phone company. They have Team One Call in Norway. It's Vekko, which is Extreme Sports Week, which is in
it's the largest extreme sports festival in the world.
It's in Voss. Yeah. So I went there. And I had the most amazing month of my life. And the Norwegian culture brought me in. Maybe they could tell I was fucked up. Maybe people could tell.
You had bought a camper van.
Yeah, I bought a camper van
to travel around in.
Right. And I was happy. I was going on adventures, and like I was outdoors. I was nothing special, just a VW van, but I was happy. Like it was something had changed, something had clicked, and it wasn't just happy like momentarily. Like I was happy every day. And this was weird for me again. So I actually was ready to start life over. I was going to make a phone call to Sandra, and I didn't know the outcome. Either something was going to happen. It was going to be another pivotal point. It was going to be one pivotal point was prison, and another pivotal point was going to be with Sandra for 10 years, or, at that time, I think 9 years, or without Sandra. I called her up and I said, hey, look, I'm not coming home. I quit the runs. I quit the business. I quit the ranch. I said, I'm not happy. I'm not doing anybody any good right now. If you would like to stay with me, I would be more than happy if you would grab our dog, grab a backpack worth of your toys, and fly to Norway. And she's like,
and what's going through my mind at this time is the number one question, like, so how do we make money? Because we just barely broke even with this run.
Zero money in our account, but we had a credit card. That's all we had, and like a couple grand in cash.
So how do we make money? And we have this ranch with all this equipment and this camp, and what are we going to do with this? And it was almost like deja vu, with the house full of stuff in Texas that wasn't working for us, right? Step 5. And so all I can think about is what's next. And what Jamie said was, it doesn't matter. We're going to figure it out. All that matters is that what I'm doing now is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it was in that moment, I don't know if by myself, I would have been able to transition. And I think that's where a lot of people find themselves. And I'm sure many listeners out there are in a job you hate and you just feel trapped. Like, I have no option. I have to do this. I've been doing events for years and marketing for years, and I have this ranch and I can't do anything different. And for Jamie to just almost make that decision for me, right? To set me free in what I felt like I had to do, and say, no, like, we don't have to do this.
So was that your second chance in life then?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I flew to Norway with no plan, no idea what we were going to do. And we spent months every day talking about business ideas. Okay, what can we do? Okay, we're really good at marketing, luckily, because we would, I was doing marketing for the runs. I was spending $250,000 a month. So I got really good at digital marketing. So we're good at that. And we like traveling.
I like my sports. And I like filming. And I like creative and storytelling.
Yes, we've always liked videography. In the very, very, very beginning, we had a company called Moral Free in like year 1, where we would go to events and take photos of people and pirate sell them on our website. We wouldn't get permission from the events. We would just, pirate sell photos, make money where we can. So we knew we loved photography and videography. So we had all these things we loved. And we're trying to figure out how can we put them together. And we're spending almost all day, every day, just talking about how we're going to.
You gave ourselves 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
We said we had enough money in our account that we could travel for 1 year and survive. And, off of a credit card, we had a credit, like a $30,000 credit card that was at zero. So we knew that we had enough to pay the monthly minimum on the credit card. And we knew that we could live off this credit card. So the goal was that we were going to reset life in 1 year. No matter what, we weren't going back to America, but we were going to reset life. Now, this is a hell of a thing to tell your parents. This is a hell of a thing to tell all your friends and your family and everything like that. So we got to eventually, we got to Romania. About 8 months later, we got to Romania.
And then all hell broke loose. But first, I had to take a break from Sandra. I went to Thailand for 6 weeks on my own. And I do this periodically. I call it like Crocodile Dundee. I go on a walkabout, and it's just a backpack and maybe a wing, and I just go walking for 6 weeks with no goal, no destination, but just me by myself. And I just go on a walkabout. And I had known what I wanted to do was storytelling, whether it was video or whatever it was. That's what I wanted to do. Originally, it was like YouTube videos and all of this, and I was trying to figure my way into it. And Sandra was like, she was going to start this thing called Manicorn. An affiliate program.
And we talk every day. And on this trip, we talk every night.
I'm creating a business plan at this point. And I'm getting ready to launch a new website.
And so it's safe to say 6 weeks, I come back and I tell Sandra, I said, we're meeting. We have 2 different meetings going on. I'm trying to build Captain Manicorn. I'm talking about making YouTube videos from the content that I created. And Sandra's, she's meeting with me talking about this affiliate program. They're both my business, right? So it's in my best interest to help her, and it's her best interest to help me. And then one day I said, listen, this isn't going to work. I'm going one direction in life. You're talking about sitting behind a computer for 8 hours a day. And I said, I can tell you right now that the direction I want to go it is not that direction, because that would put her same situation as at home when she's doing the color runs and the inflatable runs, that she was behind a computer for 12, 15, 16 hours a day because she's running an online business. I'm telling her, like, if you do this right now, this is going to be a pivotal point where you're going to go one direction in life and I'm going to go another. And there's not going to be a medium to meet in the middle, because I want to go outdoors. I want to go into nature. I want to go explore the world, and there's not going to be service everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I said, what if we put all of our energy into one goal? Mm-hmm. And that and Sandra was like, okay, so then we start working together.
It wasn't just okay. My initial resistance was, okay, so you want to make videos about what we're, videos, blogs, create content about what we're doing, and hopefully make a living from it. And I had a lot of doubts, just as everyone out there does, that it's something that you can viably live from. So I had to push past that comfort zone of creating a company behind a computer to make affiliate sales that I knew I could probably, do okay at, to something that I had no experience of. I had to really let go of everything that I knew and start fresh and only draw from what I needed to. But I agreed that I didn't want to go down the same road of creating.
We love working together. No, we want to work together. We like being together. I don't want to work in an office 8 hours looking out this window. And we have been fortunate that we've been together 12 years and we've worked together this entire time. There was only
fortunate and unfortunate.
Yeah, fortunate, unfortunate. But we're together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, and that was what I want. I want a partner, a best friend to do this with. And the problem was that I used to tell Sandra before was, no matter how much money I had or what we were doing around the world, I said, I still feel alone. I'm going on the most beautiful destinations in the world, but I feel like I'm alone because she's not there. She's working on the computer. She's doing something. And I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks. I didn't work this hard to get here to be lonely. And that's what I was suffering from. So for us,
hiding behind a computer, I guess, was my, the awakening. It's my way of sleeping. It's my way out. It's my way of hiding essentially. So I had to push that aside to be able to, okay, I'm ready to embrace this new, different life.
We'll get back to the interview in just a moment.
There's no one like you, and there never will be.
From the producer of Bohemian Rhapsody, there are many legends, but there is only one. Michael, rated PG-13, in theaters April 24.
Now, back to the show. All right, so that's what you're doing now? Is it the YouTube thing full time or what?
No, that's horrible. I hate YouTube. No, I hate social networks, buddy. I actually quit social networks. About 4 weeks ago now, I deleted all social networks off my phone.
Which is ironic because we're content.
Yeah, we're content creators, right?
Yeah.
Our dream, our vision now, we are in the works of trying to get picked up by a network. We're doing everything in our power to create a one sheet. We think we have a really cool journey, a story that we're trying to do, and we think it'd be a great TV show on Discovery or History or one of those channels.
Because we do travel unconventionally in sailboats without any sailing.
Plenty of obstacles. It's a drama. It's a drama reality show essentially. So that's the big picture. The one step below that is the podcast, which we are, Adventures of Captain Manicorn. And essentially we're practicing for 42 minutes to an hour. We're talking about stories from our adventures, and we're practicing, storytelling and dialogue and monologue. And, and I'm obsessed with master's class and learning from all the best of how to storytell, write short scripts and all of this. So currently that's what I'm doing. We make money. We don't make much money. Look, we're still in debt. This is not a successful company. This is not a tips and tricks how to start an online business successfully while traveling the world, because I don't know how to do it. We're still failing at it. But I have an analogy that I would rather be poor and barely pay the bills doing what I want every minute of every day for the rest of my life than be rich wishing I had the time to follow my dreams. And that's where we're at. We're surviving, man. We're struggling. We're figuring out how to make next month's money, to how to pay the bills. And we're just doing it day to day, month to month right now.
The alarm goes off at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. I get up.
We look outside, enjoy the beautiful view for a couple minutes, make some coffee, and then start working on sponsors, start working on outreach.
Yeah. So it's a business at the end of the day. And we work until about 9 o'clock every morning. 7 days a week. There are no days off. I don't take holidays. I work, Christmas morning, whatever. I might not, whatever, who cares? But the point is, it's way more work than somebody who's going to work for 8 hours a day. We eat, drink, and sleep this business. We have goal walls, boards. Like, are we reaching our our goals of working for 4 hours today? No, man, this is super stressful. And then I go out and do the most dangerous sports in the world, and we're like, hey, did we capture that creativity? Okay, good. We're gonna put 100 hours of work into this 12-second reel, and it's gonna get fucking 12 views. This is fantastic. I love my life. You know what I mean? Like, fuck Instagram. That's all I can say. And so the podcast for us and the website and all that is, it's like, I think we lose touch with like digital, like old school photos. Think about how cool an old school photo is, right? Like if the internet crashed for whatever reason, like Armageddon, like Terminator style, and the internet shut down, our entire lives would be erased. Everybody who was born in the last 10 years, 15 years, all their memories digitally created would be, your Facebook, your Instagram, your friend requests, all of this, all of these things would just be erased and to be nothing, right? There'd be no memory of you. You would never have left a mark in the world. So my goal is to create this.
Exist in the minds of the people that you made an impact on, really.
Yeah, but easily forgotten. As we know in social, online presence, if you're not in the front of the magazine, nobody remembers who you are. So the goal for this world record that actually Sandra came up with one morning, she walked out while we were in Romania.
Well, it was following the conversation we had about putting all of our efforts into Captain Manicorn. So I started working on a business plan for Captain Manicorn. And one of the first things you do when you make a business plan is competitor research. So I started looking at what we would consider competitors. And I realized that what we were doing, it didn't have a goal. It didn't have an arc. We were just a couple of yahoos traveling the world doing cool stuff. It didn't really mean anything to outside people and to ourselves. So at this time, we were also learning a lot about storytelling as well, which I always highly recommend for anyone who wants to be content creators. And I walked out one day to Jamie because I had this idea, and I told him, I was like, you should sit down. I have a bomb. And I literally called it a bomb. I don't think I've ever called anything else a bomb before. Like it was,
you knew he'd love it, probably.
I knew it was that impactful. And said, I think that we should be the first people to fly in every country of the world.
I said, you're full of shit.
The first thing he said was, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
And
she's anxiety. No, she's afraid of everything. She doesn't want to go to Africa. She doesn't want to get robbed and killed and raped.
A couple months prior to that, we were supposed to go to Africa. And I was like, no, I don't want to
She's telling me, no, I want to go to all these different countries. And she's like, no, I'm scared. I'm like, so she says, let's go to every country. I'm like, you are full of shit. I said, so, you know what I mean? Like, you're full of shit.
Was this goal, and he's absolutely right. I mean, I suffer from anxiety pretty bad. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to in this lifestyle. It's so counterproductive, right? To travel the world, deal with obstacles constantly, and have anxiety, and to do these extreme sports. It's not the best mix, I've got to tell you. But there's the only way that I've learned to be able to make progress in the anxiety is facing it almost daily and working through it mentally. So when I came up with this challenge for Jamie to be able to do this in every country of the world, cool. That's
check, done. This is the rest of my life. Like, what's your purpose in life? I'm like done.
It's like he was made for it.
Yeah.
For me to be able to do this, I have to go through so many emotions, overcome so much internal anxiety, as well as external manifestations of problems. And to be honest, Jamie's a natural athlete. No. I'm not so much. I didn't grow up the sports and the dirt bikes. I grew up playing piano. So for me to be able to do the sports is such an accomplishment for me because I know I'm accomplishing a lot more myself. So it was a challenge for myself, definitely.
I mean, I would say that without Sandra, there's no way that I would be able to keep my sanity through all of this. I think I would still do it regardless if we were together or not. And I guess that's a good point because for people out there, like your drive, your desire, your devotion has to be your devotion. So we go through this all the time. We've almost broke up and over it. You know, sailing, I was like, I'm going to set this record. I have one goal, one goal is to do an adventure every day for the rest of my life and to keep doing what I'm doing, traveling the world. So when she said that, she gave me freedom because I didn't have to worry. I don't wake up with any other goals. Like, I don't want to make $1 million. I don't want a house. I don't want Ferraris. I don't want, kids. I don't want any of this. I have one thing that I focus on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is how to create the next great adventure and how to live and how to storytell this adventure that I'm going on. Mm-hmm. So for the last 2 years, that's my goal. That's my focus. That's why we built the pink van. That's why I bought a sailboat. We sailed to Norway. That's why we're in another van and we're going down to Africa right now. We're driving all the way to Africa. And then I'm flying to Pakistan to go be the first person to fly wingsuits over K2. And it grows. It's growing. And the only thing that the money is changing, because I don't care about money. I never have. That's why I don't have any, is the adventures. But I have a really cool team, Sandra. I have another partner, Oliver. And between like these three, my core people right here,
and a couple of dogs.
I have 3 dogs in the van with us right now. I'm living my dream. So, like I said, we're not a show about how to make money. We're not a show how to start a successful business. We're not a show about most of what the people out there are doing. Our show is how to overcome adversity, because the only thing that I can tell you is that I can show you how to overcome any obstacle in life. That's the one gift I have. I keep pushing. I'm never negative. I'm never upset about it. When the world's blowing up and things are on fire, I'm calm,
Literally,
I'm relaxed,
figuratively.
and I'm smiling and going, this is what I asked for. I wanted an adventure while I'm in it. It sucks. I don't like this. I regret this decision wanting to do this part, but I know in the end that this is what I want and that I will grow from this experience. And we hope that our show and that my disaster of a life that turned into what I think is pretty rad, I hope that people can see that if we can overcome all of these things, that there's nobody out there that has any excuse. 1 second, our dog is climbing over a trash can.
Three-legged dog trying to climb over a trash can.
Come on, Journey.
Come on, Journey.
Come on, Journey. You're being
it.
super loud.
Okay.
She got 3 legs, lost one to cancer. She's my inspiration. That's a good spot. So Sandra is like the rock. She's the complete opposite. I'm like full send, creative, like fix everything, keep moving forward, like no sleep for the wicked. Like I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm the last one to go to bed. I'm like, like Sandra, how's the prospecting? How's this? Like all day, every day, like I am goal oriented. Like this is what our goal is. We need to do everything in our power. And it drives us crazy, right? Because Sandra's like, sit the fuck still. Just relax for a moment. Like I can't, this is what we're doing. So it's the biggest gift in the world. And I love it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I hope that viewers at home that are the audience that hear this, that get off the fucking couch, get up and go do something. Like this is take your like freedom, take your life. I have this, I don't know how long we got or what it is, but I have this, I don't know what you would call it, but I have rules to my life. So I believe that these are the 5 steps to success, that if anybody in the world, if you follow these 5 steps, that you can have all the success, you can have anything you want. The first one is to research your dream. What do you want to do? What's your dream?
I think that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part, right? I don't think people do this anymore. People don't take the time because you work for 8 hours a day. You're driving to work back and forth. You got kids, you've got girlfriends, boyfriends, social networks. You have all these different things, right? So people don't take time for themselves anymore. What do I want, right? So once you figure out what it is you want, then you have to make a decision, right? You have to make a commitment. You say, okay, this is what I want. I want to be a professional. I want to be a pilot for the airlines. This is your dream, okay? I want to be a pilot for the airlines. Okay, so once that happens, then you have to make a plan. So step 1, research your dream. Step 2, make a commitment. Step 3 is you have to make a plan. No one in the world will reach their goals or reach their dreams without a plan. It is impossible. So you have to make a plan. That's step 3.
First, you have to reach a certain amount of hours to become a pilot.
Yeah.
Right?
So you have to make this plan, right? And it's like from A to B to C to D. Don't leave any out. Don't make excuses. Like don't miss steps and do it lazy. Make a fucking plan. Like put the work in. So step 4 is execution. You have to execute this plan relentlessly. I don't want to hear about motivation. I don't want to hear about any of that shit. Kids, wives, dogs, bills, medical, cancers, death. I don't want to hear any of that shit. You have to every day relentlessly, every waking moment, put all of your energy into step 4, executing your plan, right? Because that's your goal. That's your dream. There should be nothing else more important than that, right? So at this point, you've made like, this is my life. This is what I want to do with it. So by step 4, you should be able to say, I'm devoting every moment of my waking existence to reaching this goal. Okay. And then the new one is eventually you're going to reach your, if you follow those 4 steps, you're going to reach your goal. It's inevitable because you went from A to B, B to C, D to E. You kept going and you're going to reach your goal eventually. It's inevitable.
And the most important, step 5.
I just came up with this one recently. Step 5 is called reset. Here's the problem. A lot of the times for me, I got to step 4. I've reached a lot of dreams and it didn't make me happy. So instead of continuing down that road of being unhappy, there's a big red button in life and it says reset. I push the red button. I love pushing red buttons. I love it. I love it. Like anywhere there's a red button that like detonates shit, blows shit up, resets something, that destroys something.
He's not lying. He's literally stops elevators because the button.
Anything, or any red button, I push it. I love it. And so that's step 5 is to reset, to know that it doesn't matter if you put 10 years into it, 20 years into it. I don't care how long you put into it, is to realize that this is not making you happy. Reset, go back to step 1, start over. What do I really want to do? And that's what kids need to do. Like we're so infatuated with like, you need to go to college, you need to have this job, you need to have a wife, kids, bills, blah, 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 that they get to this point and they never even took a time to realize what their dream was. And now they're married, they're unhappy, they're having kids because they're trying to fulfill something and they're just getting worse. And that's why divorce rates are the highest they've ever been. Suicide rates are the highest they've ever been. Depression, medical, clinical problems are the highest they've ever been. Online bullying, all of these things are the highest they've ever been because no one's chilling the fuck out and figuring out what they really want to make themselves happy. But worrying about other people and what makes you happy. Step 1.
Drop the mic.
Thanks, Sandra.
Are you guys tired? Do you ever just wake up and just like, can we just not do anything today?
I think Sandra does most days. I'm up at 5. If we're transparency with everybody out there, I'm up at 5 o'clock, 4:45. I'm up early.
He's in charge of making coffee.
I'm in charge of making coffee and pulling the blankets off and telling her to get the hell out of bed. I said, we got goals and dreams to reach.
Once the coffee's poured, and then maybe after 5 minutes, when it's the right temperature, then it's time to get up.
I refer to this. I'm a high octane engine, like straight dragster. Okay. All day, every day. I'm like this full blast, full energy, nonstop.
You can see how we get in a little bit of trouble sometimes.
Yeah. But Sandra's a hell of a diesel. Once she gets going and she commits to something, and she's an analyst. I'm a promoter. She's an analyst. So once Sandra analyzes it, she wraps her mind around it. It makes sense to her. She's combated anxiety or anything that, all of these different things. And she says, okay, I'm on board. This sounds like a good idea. I've this is usually of weeks of me trying to like do whatever it takes to get her to go this direction. And it's work. She's unstoppable, you guys. Like I literally she inspires me. She'll work so hard, so long. Like I am inspired to work harder watching her work. Like she's like, I can't explain it. Like I'm crazy. I'm like dreaming and like taking on the world, but that's who gives a shit. Because, you need a Sandra who makes the whole thing possible. And I literally could not do this without her because she ties all of the stuff that I can't do, like focusing on computer, the marketing, all of those different things. We talk about all of it together. We have plans, we make marketing strategies, all these different things together, but she executes it. She does it. And that's her strength. My strength is the stunts, the sports, the life, the travel, the adventure.
Things.
I fix everything. So to your question, am I tired? No, man. I'm fucking wide awake. I'm living life. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting warmed up, dude. I just turned 40 and I'm going to conquer, like, you have no idea, like, what's going on through my mind right now. No, I'm not tired. I wish I didn't need to sleep as much. There's so much out there. Like, life is short, guys. We live for 80 years. 80 years. Like, and I'm already 40, so I'm halfway there, right? Like, I only got but your body, so you live for 80, but your body does not work the same.
It's like the gas tank, right? Like, when it gets it gets so much in the first quarter, and then like this starts going really fast at the end. You're like, whoa,
slow down.
Especially with these gas prices.
No, like that's literally back to my original statement about the movie Awakening with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, who obviously killed himself, right? Another crazy movie, a story, but essentially, I see everybody else moving slow. I see everybody else sleeping. I see this. And I just want to tell everybody, like, you guys, you're going to blink a couple more times and you're going to be old. Your loved ones are going to be dying. Your money is going to be irrelevant. There's no, money can't cure something.
I'll do it someday.
I'll do it someday. That's the biggest, I hate hearing that. I'll do it someday when I have time or when I have money. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Do it now. Do it now.
When we were in Albania, we were hiding in the mountains and we had to complement Jamie's Do It Now story. I always had a dream of helping animals. And my dream, I was like, okay, I'll probably be in my 50s and I'll be older when I do it because it's just not something that I can feasibly do right now. And we're in Albania, and where our camper van was parked, there were actually a herd of puppies and the mother dog that we had been feeding. And Jamie came to me one day and he said, your dream has always been to help animals. And you've always wanted to do it 10, 15, 20 years, sometime past. But why do you have to wait? If that's truly your dream, then why can't you start today? And it might not look like what you want. You might not have a ranch with hundreds of dogs, but we can help these puppies today. And you can start on your dream, take the first step. And that moment, we took one of the puppies. And he said, we can foster this puppy. And, and that can be the first step. We can find some homes for the other ones. We can leave some money and some food for the mother dog and the other puppies that don't get adopted. And that's what we did. And it's been the longest fostering ever because 2 years later, we still have Journey. And she actually, at 6 months later, everything happens for a reason. She got cancer in her leg. I was petting her one day and I felt a small little bump in her leg. And she's 6 months, right? I'm like, it's probably like a tick bite that got infected. Who knows? And slowly over the next 2 weeks started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, it turns out she had a very dangerous form of cancer. And we took her to the vet in Greece. They said that they needed to amputate her leg so that it wouldn't metastasize to the rest of her. And I was heartbroken. My dream is to help animals. And the first animal I help here gets cancer. Now we're going to be traveling the world in a camper van with a 3-legged dog. And we encounter mean strays all the time. Here's my anxiety, right? we encounter all of these mean strays, and my dog's not even be able to outrun them. But like I said, the universe gives you what you need, not what you want. And luckily, she is still the happiest and fastest dog. And since then, our project, Feed a Stray a Day, was born. And we actually help stray dogs in every country that we go to. And it's a Just Care More project. We feed dogs, we give them medication when they need it, flea and tick. And we've
rescued 3 of them now. We have 3 rescue dogs that are living.
We found another one made her way into our wolf pack. There's been multiple animals that we've taken in and found them homes. Some of them have been shipped to America. Just amazing stories, and that's been your passion project. That's my passion, right? That was the other piece of the travel. What do I love to do? Travel, fly, marketing, and helping dogs. And I was able to put them all together in the project.
But you have a really cool, like, what nobody in the world knows this. This is like, why don't you tell people what you're about to go do?
Because secret squirrel.
Because you have a dream. I'm going to Pakistan to reach a dream, and I told Sandra, I says, look,
Jamie's going to Pakistan to go wingsuit, base jump. I mean, this is a big project. He's going with his other full send buddy, Oliver. And since I don't wingsuit, I said, it's probably better to take it's always good to have separation in a relationship.
And guys, nothing's better than when your wife tells you to go away.
He said, I'm going to go for 2 weeks. And I was like, well, why don't you go for a month? And he kind of looked at me weird, like, what are you thinking? And I had already had this idea in my mind that I wanted to go work in an animal shelter. And I wanted to go volunteer and give them a month of my life to try and help them in as many ways possible, whether it's in marketing, whether it's promoting their shelter to our followers.
Picking up dog shit. Real talk.
My goal is, and so I'm actually, while Jamie is going to Pakistan this month, I'm going to be spending a month in Portugal at Algarve Animal Shelter and going to be working with them, which I'm super excited about. I'm a little nervous because I'm bringing 3 dogs with me.
And your van the first time on your own, bringing our home across Spain and to get to Portugal.
Mm-hmm. But, we have the same dream, and that's Captain Manicorn, but there's also a split off of dreams, right? So sometimes you have to split ways, in a sense, to be able to achieve your own dreams and then come back together. And I'm excited that we've found a way to do that.
Yeah. My mom used to say the best was like, we know Sandra doesn't really want to travel the world, do all these air sports. She really loves you, Jamie, because like she lets you be exactly who you want to be. And I know that too. I'm like, Sandra, I know that you don't want to fly every day. You don't want to do these things. And I was like, you need to find something that you're passionate about, that's your mission. I was like, you can just travel the world like in the van and travel with me and be happy, or you can find something that you can devote your life to that's, makes people better. And we have a 50-50 rule. I'm a pirate. I'm telling you guys that now. Don't underestimate what I'm telling you. But I feel that you have to, if you're going to take 50%, you have to give 50%. So for every 50 cents I take, I give back 50 cents so that I think the pot's even. And our way is giving back to children, giving back to dogs, to shelters, of these different things, right? So that's kind of our way of giving back as the animals. It's called, it's through Just Care More, through our charity. And the column is called Feed a Stray a Day. Mm-hmm. And we drive around with buckets of food and we raise money. Our patrons donate money, and we buy buckets of food. And every stray that we come across that we see on the side of the highway, we'll stop and feed. And we'll pet them and love on them. And that's how we've ended up with 3 of them. So this for Sandra, what she's doing is huge because she's not telling the full value. This is the first time that she has split in 12 years gone to do what she wanted to do. Everything from the runs, everything that we've wanted to do has really been me pushing, like, let's go do this. And her just holding on for dear life, like a roller coaster ride, like, okay, wee. And I'm so proud of her for following her dream and even being married in a relationship that we're in, but saying, no, you know what? I need my time too. You go away for a month, go be happy. I want to go work in the shelter, and I need to kind of fill a hole and give back so that I can recharge my battery. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, I'm not flying back to her. I'm making her cross into Africa, into a different continent with the van without me. Because I'm way over my Schengen visa right now, like 7 months past my Schengen. So I'm pirating even being here. Mm-hmm. So I've got to sneak out of Europe.
So I've got to take the van solo and the 3 dogs and go across the border. And I think my driver's license is expired. So, so I've got a slew of obstacles. But like I said, if I want to make this dream happen, it's not going to be easy. So I've got to be able to sacrifice something. So we'll see what happens. But you might have to rescue me.
I can't get back to Europe, so good luck.
Send help.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry.
How are you going to sneak out?
So I've snuck out twice so far. Every country we've been to, we've always overstayed it. Whatever. It's
other countries we've gotten temporary residency. Romania, when the pandemic
Turkey.
hit, we got residency so we could stay longer. Turkey, you pay a couple $100.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it like I said, the one advantage to having all that money was to learn that money bullshit talks and money walks. So most of the time I just pay fees or I bribe somebody or whatever it is. Typically we drove out of the EU Schengen to Hungary once, into Romania. We got out that way. Once we just drove out of Greece to Turkey or to Bulgaria. He said, "You're 8 months over your Schengen." He goes, what's the deal? And I just looked at him and said, "Hey man, what do you want to do? COVID, And he just looked and we both knew like he would have to fill out paperwork and he would have a lot to do if he chose to do this. And I said, "What do you want to do, man?" He stamped our visas and get the fuck out of here. So I'm hoping we're going to Barcelona, which is the leanest, here's some tricks for your people that are visiting Europe. If you want to get out of the Schengen and you've overstayed it, the best place to do it is from Spain. They are the most lenient on fees and penalties when you're leaving the Schengen. So
sometimes you'll get a slap on the wrist and a fine. I think we had a friend who overstayed by a month and got €250.
Yeah, but he left from Slovenia, which is a super strict place.
Yeah, the worst case is that you get a ban, right? They say you can't come back for X amount of years. So that's the worst case.
That's worst case. Like I'll use whatever excuses I have to, whether it's the war, Ukraine, whether it's my Romanian visa, whether it's my Turkish visa, got stuck in a sailboat in Norway, whatever they want to hear, whatever direction I can see them accepting my bullshit, I'll go down that road. I'll keep playing it out. And two options are going to happen. They're either going to kick me out or I'm going to get out without a problem.
Sandra, I was just wondering if you could, I guess, share some advice on managing the anxiety piece. Sounds like it's a big part of your life, and yet, you're doing all these things, traveling, and I know there's some people listening that deal with that as well, I'm sure. So, of course, anxiety can kick up even more when things are unpredictable, right? And that's life on the road. So, a little, I say everything's unpredictable everywhere, but maybe a little bit more so when you're traveling around. So, what you've learned about that, and any advice you can share there.
Absolutely. And I wish I could tell you that I've knocked off anxiety off my list and I've mastered it and all is good, but that would be the farthest from the truth. And anyone with anxiety or addiction knows that it's a daily battle, and it's in the consistency in the daily battles. And honestly, sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I lose horribly. The anxiety takes over and I go into a weak slump of questioning why I'm doing this and is this what I want to do. So it can be very inconsistent. But what I've learned is that one of the things that works for me is I think about what I've been through in the past and what I've succeeded at and that what I have done well at. And I draw from those experiences. When I'm about to go on a flight and I'm scared, I've broken myself so many times, I've gotten so many injuries, I've made so many mistakes that all I can think about, I'm visualizing myself flying and crashing and getting hurt, and I don't have insurance in this country, and if I mess up this landing, or if I mess up the launch, I'm going to miss it with Jamie, and is he going to get mad because he knows I could have done better, and all these things are going through my head. I have to stop and think about, you know what? The last time I flew, I freaking nailed it, like to a T. And there's not much different from this time and last time. So if I did okay that time, then I think I got it this time. And just being able to say that to myself and take a deep breath, breathing's always important, and to keep that in the forefront of my mind really helps ease a lot of the anxiety. And that can go for sometimes the experiences when we try to find a campsite at night, right? We're traveling, we're in an unfamiliar area, we're going through a forest. Are we going to get stuck? Are there going to police that are going to come? Are the dogs going to get lost because they just run amok? Is there going to be a wolf out there that's going to eat one of my dogs? But you know what? Every single time before, it's been fine. And a couple times that it wasn't fine, it ended up being fine. And it was a good laugh. And now it's a good story. So even if something does happen, I think it'll be okay. And these are the things that I tell myself, even in situations that create the most fear for me. For example, when Jamie goes wingsuit base jumping on a dangerous exit, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm standing at the bottom and I'm watching, I can see a little pink and green wingsuit on top of the cliff, and my mind visualizes him falling off the cliff and messing off the exit and hitting the wall and falling to his death. And the problem is that I get so good sometimes at visualizing the bad things. I don't practice visualizing the good things enough. And that's what I'm actually currently working on. Visualization is so important to success. And it's something that I think I don't really even know how to do, to be honest. So I've been working on visualizing the things that give me anxiety. I'll visualize the opposite, the best case scenario in my mind. And the more I do that, the more comfortable and the more my anxiety seems to slip away. But it never fully goes away. That's the thing about anxiety, I've noticed. But if I can beat it or at least put it off the side in healthy ways without needing medication, then for me, it's a win.
And your board, talk about your board, your goal board. That's your biggest thing, how you stay focused.
Oh, yeah. For me, being, if I don't have goals set for myself, I start to get, and checklists too. I don't know if it's like an OCD thing. I mean, I struggle with, I don't know what direction to go. So for what's really worked for us is we created a goal board. And whenever I reach a goal, for example, it was cold calling people, right? Potential sponsors. I don't know if anyone else has done their cold calling. It is so scary, right? So I'm calling companies. Essentially, I'm going to ask them, can we do a phone call so you can hopefully become a sponsor, right? In the simplest terms. It scared me so much. I created a checklist on our wall. I created a check mark every time I talked to a person on the phone. And slowly, the thing that gave me anxiety, it still does, let's be honest. But now, at least when I reach the goal of talking to somebody, I get to confidently walk over my board and I can check it off. So for me, having a visualization of overcoming the things that I need to do that give me anxiety has also really helped.
Cool. Thank you. Super helpful. Jamie, I'm probably never going to wingsuit. I want you to describe like the base jumping and or wingsuiting experience because it looks freaking crazy and cool. And what an interesting way to kind of explore nature because you're going to some unique spots that are suited for that, pun intended, I guess. Just describe what that experience is like.
Sure. So people say that it's an adrenaline junkie kind of activity. That couldn't be further from the truth. There's definitely adrenaline that comes with it, but it's, I guess, for me, wingsuiting is overcoming fear. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of getting hurt. I'm afraid of this adventure stopping. So for me, wingsuiting is an opportunity for me to go on a hike, stay healthy, have a conversation with myself for 2 hours on the hike, to look at my life, to look at things that maybe people that I'm not at peace with, or problems that I have, or obstacles that I'm dealing with, and to put them in their place and prioritize them, right? Because they're not that important in the moment. If I jump off this cliff and I die, then all of these things are really irrelevant to me, and they're only left a mess to Sandra or to my family. So for me, base jumping is an opportunity to prioritize my life, to be able to tell Sandra, I love you. I love my dogs, and to know that I'm happy, but I need to do this because if I don't do this, then it's like addiction. It's like prison. It's like the criminal background. It's, for me, it's one more thing that I don't want to let have control over me. Fear. I don't want to let fear have control over me and paralyze me. I'm the opposite of Sandra, right? Like I want to put myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable, because I think I've had somebody tell me recently, I'm most comfortable being uncomfortable. Most warriors are the happiest at war. The most dangerous time for a warrior is peacetime. We don't know what to do with ourselves. So if I don't have goals, I don't have things I'm afraid of, I don't have obstacles I'm overcoming, then I'm a mess. So wingsuiting is the pinnacle of all of these things. It's like the buildup. It's overcoming addiction, overcoming prison, staying out of prison. All of these things. Base jumping is the buildup for all of it, because as you got a heavy backpack with a wingsuit and a base rig, and you're on these hikes to the top of a mountain, and you're seeing some places that most people, 99% of the world, will never even see. 99.9%, let's be honest, there's 8 billion people, right? So 99.9% of the world will never see this view. And that's step one. I'm so fortunate to even be there. And wingsuiting and base jumping is what allowed me the opportunity to see this. Then I've got step two of overcoming all of the fears and anxieties and things that I've had to overcome to get to that point. And then the moment of release, the moment of nirvana, you jump, right? Like you just jump and you're weightless. and you're falling for a moment. And then all of a sudden you feel the wind starting to come through the vents on the wingsuit. The wingsuit starts to inflate. You're starting to move a little bit faster. The next thing you know, you're pulling away from the wall, and then you're flying. And then all of a sudden all that stress is gone and you're just fucking soaring through the sky like a bird. And in that moment, nothing else matters. There's nothing in the world that compares to that feeling. And then the next thing that happens, it's time to deploy your canopy. And all of that peace and serenity is gone. And now I'm going to fucking die. And oh shit, if this thing better open, oh fuck me, oh shit. You reach back with your right hand. You grab this little canopy. It's called a pilot chute. You've got it. You're like, okay, step one. But remember, I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm breathing. But in my mind, oh shit, whoa, what the fuck's going to happen? You reach back. You grab this pilot chute. You grab a hold of it. And you throw that motherfucker. Because, you that little pilot chute has to inflate. It has to pull the other canopy off your back. And there's a moment where nothing. It's silent. It's like the eeriest thing in the world because there's a second between the pilot chute inflating with air. It's got a 9-foot bridle attached to your pins. So there's that moment where you throw the canopy, it inflates, it's extending the bridle, and you're waiting for it to pop the pins. And that is the scariest moment of my life. Not the jump. Who cares about that? That's easy. You can do that. But I have no control in this moment. Did I pack my parachute right? Did I do this good? Is this not going to open? Am I going to die? So then, and now when they say your life flashes before your eyes, that's the moment right there for me. So my life flashes before my eyes, and all of a sudden I feel the pins open. You land, you give high fives. The adventure that you just shared with your friend, with Sandra, everybody is on another level of cloud 9. And the best part is you can pack your parachute and you can go do it again and again and again and again. And you get better and the opportunities grow. And then that's the passion and the discipline. And you get to do things, like fly over K2 or, fly over castles. And, it's just an amazing experience. And it's the most dangerous sport in the world. They say the only sport that's more dangerous is, mountaineering above 8,000 feet, the death zone. But the majority of the people, the ratio of people dying doing that is pretty high as well. Like 1 out of every 4 people who climb K2. So there's a pretty high ratio of death to that, but it's also pretty high for wingsuiting. The mistakes you can make, it's user error. You packed it wrong, or maybe before why one of the reasons I went sober was because I was afraid that I was going to make a mistake while I was on drugs, and I was going to pack my parachute wrong and I would die, because of a mistake I made on drugs. So that's why I never party. I never even touch something if I know I'm going to jump in a day or 2 days. Like my mind is absolutely clear. I've dealt with all my demons. I've dealt with Sandra, my relationship, everything. And before I go on a hike, everything in my life has to be in order. That's a hell of a thing to have, that clarity. Like I know my dream, my life is in order. I'm going to go overcome this obstacle. I'm going to fly. It's going to be the most beautiful thing in the world. And I'm going to see something that nobody else or very few people in the world have ever seen. And I'm going to keep moving on, baby, because tomorrow's a new day and a new adventure.
And because you keep doing this, you're essentially putting your life in order, facing all that each time.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. You have to. It's,
Yeah.
You have to. It's scary. I actually took a break from base jet wingsuiting for 3 years. I had got into it in 2016. I had like 18 friends die. It was the worst year in base jumping history.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was terrible.
In
1 summer.
It was crazy.
I had some accidents and I actually scared myself.
The first time that I watched Jamie jump from a cliff in Norway,
in a wingsuit, in
Gudvagen, which was quite an interesting experience because he went with a friend to make a funny video for a contest. So him and his friend were naked under their wingsuits. Well, they had like socks on their
cocks.
Cock socks, happy face and a sad face. So the whole jump was just kind of a funny experience. But I'm at the ground watching, and Jamie actually had a malfunction when he pulled his parachute and ended up getting line twists. And I'm just watching him try to kick out of it and save himself as he disappears behind the trees where there's power lines. And that was the first time I'd watched him base jump. I was like, I hate this. So I've had my own long relationship with Jamie base jumping. So then I told him that I hate it. I don't like you doing this. And then when everyone died, it kind of, he was scared. If the best in the world are dying, what chance does he have?
Yeah.
But then he ended up seeing a video of somebody doing this crazy sport with this little parachute flying in between close to walls. And he showed me a video. His name is Jamie Lee, famous speed flyer, and said, I think I'm going to learn how to do this. And that's going to kind of replace wingsuit base jumping. And I said, sure. Sounds like it. It's got to be better. Right. little did I know that after going to when he went to go get certified, I was like, okay, maybe I'll try something similar. Here we are.
Yeah, but now I'm full-time wingsuiting again. I've had the best summer of my life in Norway, overcame those obstacles. I feel safer. It's not to say that I'm not going to go die tomorrow. It's a very good possibility. But to know that I could make this jump and that jumping over this castle is a possibility, but to not do it because I'm afraid of dying, that would be even worse than dying itself. That would be, I'd be back where I started. So.
And you've done all the steps as well to get to a point where he's confident, where I'm confident in his ability.
I'm not complacent. I'm still scared. I'm still very wary. I'm still very cautious. I'm not cocky or arrogant about it. I don't think I'm a cool kid. I'm actually the opposite of that. So for me, it's a very methodical pack job. And, I'm very analytical. I'm very safety oriented. I'm very, very aware of weather and what's going on. And so I take all these things into consideration before I make a jump. So I'm not.
He's reading literally meteorology books to just give you an idea of how he's trying to learn. He's not just out there, licking his finger like, yeah, that seems fine. So there's a lot of that goes into it. But
it is still, what is that? The definition of, what is that theory? All that can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law. At the end of the day, shit still happens. Welcome to base jumping. So that's the risk I'm willing to take.
This K2 one sounds pretty intense. You're jumping from
helicopters.
How high?
Yeah, well, so the mountain's at like 23,000 something feet. So we're going there next month to try to work with the military and the politics and all of that.
It's a military airspace. So obstacle one, be allowed to fly over.
We're going there to deal with that and to schmooze and wooze and use all my skills to hopefully bullshit my way into
the carton of cigarettes should work, right?
Carton of cigarettes. Yeah. So we're going to try to get our way over there. No, they're a great culture. I mean, come on, let's be honest. They have 5 of the tallest mountains in the world in Pakistan. It's an untapped resource for adventure. No one's ever done a wingsuit base jump out there. So, and we've got some really good connections and people support team already there that's helping us put all this together. So we're hoping that we can. It's inexpensive. So it's obviously we have a long ways to go. Step 1, get permission. Step, then put it all together. Then it's going to be about a $20,000 project, which we don't have money for. So then we're going to have to get sponsorship and go down that whole road to pull this off by, I think, June is our goal to actually jump K2.
And just to share a little bit about obstacles, what makes it interesting is that because we go to such off the beaten path places and getting crazier, I mean, we're going to be heading to Africa and then after that, the Middle East. We actually had a sponsor turn us down because he is going to Pakistan and said that would clash with their company's objectives. And for us, we didn't even think about that. Like for us, we're just, these countries are amazing places. And of course, there's bad people, there's bad governments, but isn't that every country? So it's interesting that, it was the first time we were like, oh, these countries could actually.
They didn't want their brand affiliated with Pakistan. I'm like, why? Who cares? They're Pakistan. They're their people. Who cares? There's great people everywhere. So, yeah, that's that. Who cares?
Yeah. Where you guys are at right now and everything that you've done and your whole journey and a lot of it that we've talked about today, I'm just wondering what are kind of like, what's the biggest lesson right now in your life that you're like taking from all of this, like in this moment today?
Go hard. When people tell you slow down, and I think the biggest for me, I don't know for Sandra, hers is her own, but for me, sorry, Freedom, stop snoring, baby. I mean, sorry, Gazelle, sorry. The biggest lesson I've learned is that I
thought you were just a heavy breather, Jamie.
No, that's Freedom snoring. She's my little
like
pit
a little
bull.
piggy.
Yeah, I'm really in shape for K2. I've been training every day. Go hard. I don't, for me, wake up early, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 3:30. I don't care what time it is, and use every minute of that day to reach your dream. Like that. The world, I'm afraid, it's going to come so quick. I'm 40 now, then you're 50, you're 60, you're 70. And you have to look back and, we are our own judge. Did I accomplish what I wanted? And I might never get a TV show. I might never be the athlete I want to be, but it won't be because I didn't try. It will just be that, the networks didn't want me, or it just wasn't right for TV, or it wasn't the right time, or who knows the reasons why the universe did not let it be, but it will not be because of a lack of effort. So go hard. I think the biggest lesson is my 5-step program. I literally live it every day. I don't go one day without enforcing it. What step are we at? I've hit the reset button a lot. I've walked away from businesses. I've walked away from everything you can think of. And I just keep hitting that reset button. If we're going a direction with our business that I don't like, it gets away from our mission to inspire people. We have one simple goal. We want to inspire people with our story, with our mission, and everything that we do should stick to that mission. We want to create content, create a story, create a TV show that inspires people to get off the fucking couch and go follow your dreams. So that's my biggest lesson is find something that you're willing to die for. And I mean, like, I feel very fortunate that I have something I'm willing to die for. I'm willing to die to inspire people to live their best life. And in order to do that, I have to live my best life. I don't believe in telling people anything. I don't believe in, if you do this, this will happen. If you follow these 5 steps, it's going to happen. That doesn't work. It didn't work for me. You can tell, you can lead a horse to water. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. We do it by showing people that it can be done. I'm not telling you to do anything that I'm not currently going through right now. I'm living this program. I'm living step 1 through 4. I'm overcoming obstacles every day. I'm battling vehicles, laws, governments, predictions, depressions, mental health. I'm battling all of those daily, as we talked about. But I don't let it stop me. I just keep going. I keep pushing. So go hard. Figure something out that you're willing to die for, and go all in. That's life.
Yeah, it's well put. That's a great question. What's the biggest lesson? And I guess for me, the way that I would answer that is how transformative travel can really be. I think that there's different kind of travelers I've noticed. And for me personally, when I came out here to travel, I thought we were just going to be driving around and having a great old time. And Jamie would always ask me, like, why are you not stoked? Because I always kind of had this underlying unstoked attitude about things, and I couldn't really figure it out. I was like, I mean, if I feel stoked, I think I'm stoked. I think I'm happy, but I always kind of realized that I had this piece of me that wasn't stoked. And through travel, and it's taken years and still currently in it, I finally started to realize that the person I was before I started traveling, and like Jamie said, was not the person that I wanted to be. And I had never done step 1, which was figure out your dreams. I was just wandering through life like Dora, where she doesn't know who she is or what she's doing, and she's going around the pole over and over. And I'd never taken the time to figure out who I was and what made me happy. And when we started traveling, it was a slow process, and I'm still in the process. But I've been able to slowly figure out the things that I love, the things that make me happy, and how to incorporate them into my daily lives, as well as through the travel, being able to uncover the fact that I do struggle with anxiety, because I never thought it was a problem, even though my mom suffers from it, my grandma and my dad. I was like, I'm fine. I have no problems, right? There's nothing that I'm struggling with. And through the power of traveling, I was able to uncover these things about myself. And I don't think that that's something that people do enough, is put themselves in, slightly uncomfortable situations. It doesn't have to be travel. It can just be doing new experiences to figure out, I like this and I don't like this. I think that there in Norway, there's actually a program that I think is amazing called the
Folkeskole.
Folkeskole.
Fuck high school, something.
It sounds like fuck high school.
Yeah. Fuck high school.
And it's we learned about when we were in Norway, and after,
you know what I'm talking about. He's why it's 18-year-old can get to go do it.
After high school, they have this school that kids can go to, and it's essentially you can go, and if you kind of like skiing, you take a skiing course, you can take a travel course, you can take they have all these different classes on different topics just of hiking and guiding, and you can try different things, and I think it counts as school course, right? Like 2 years. And you just try all these different activities and figure out what you like. And I think that's amazing, because I'd never done anything like that. I had turned 18. I got out of my behavior modification program. I just started doing drugs. And then eventually I was like, okay, maybe I should quit meth after hitting rock bottom. And I started drinking. And then I met Jamie and we started these businesses. So I never had the time to figure out, what do I like? What do I love? So I think for me, that's been the biggest lesson, is the self-discovery that comes with travel and putting yourself in new experiences.
External exploration to create internal satisfaction.
No, just external and internal exploration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number one sort of practical travel tips, since you guys have been all over the place now.
Practical? People out there, Listen, bury your shit, throw your toilet paper away. There's my travel tip. You want to be a better human being? Throw your damn toilet paper away, all you van lifers and all you travelers out there. That would help save the world right there. Quit leaving your shit everywhere and quit leaving your toilet paper because you're going to fuck it up for everybody.
Sense. That's not even practical.
And obviously, it's not common sense if there's shit and toilet paper everywhere. Because my dogs eat it. It's fucking disgusting. I'm tired of it. Yeah, that face you're making right now, yeah, it's real shit. My dog come back and they have shit all over their face. People, come on.
Or frozen.
No. The face I was making was thinking about your dog kissing you afterwards.
Yeah.
We have at least a no kisses after 2 hour rule.
The biggest travel tip is this: is don't listen to anybody. Every country we go to the right of them, they say it's the worst country. Don't go there; it's unsafe. And don't listen to the media. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to any of those things because remember, all of those things are propaganda machines, and their whole job is to tell you their job is to tell you the negative things. The things that are wrong and the bad. That's how they get their ratings. And go meet these people. Go get the experience yourself. Don't listen to people out there. If you've met somebody who had a terrible experience, and learn from their terrible experience and try not to make that yourselves, like Sandra said. But ultimately, number one travel tip is don't listen to people and keep going to the next destination because it's beautiful.
And mine would be, I don't know if it's a great tip, but mine would be that sometimes you have to kind of bend the rules a little bit and you have to push past what you think might be okay. I've noticed that there's been, and you have to be willing to be told no. You have to sometimes ask very uncomfortable questions because you have no other option. If you need to get across a border and they need 20 euros if you want to get into Turkey and you don't have any euros, this is what actually happened. You have to be able to ask, can I just run to the ATM in the middle of Turkey in the middle of the night to be able to get some cash? Or can I go into the convenience store and ask people if you can give them different kind of money or pay for their drinks so that they can give you cash? I mean, you have to be able to
not accept no as an answer.
Not accept no as an answer and be able to push the boundaries of your own comfort zone. And I think that's been one of the hardest parts, I think, of traveling. But also our largest strength, because I hate being told no. It's my biggest pet peeve. So someone tells me no, I'm going to figure out a way to do it anyways. So they keep telling us no, and we keep getting it through. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. Why don't you take the time here to just share the various things?
Well, if anybody listened to 146 hour and 46 minutes of this, you definitely dig in our story and you like us. For whatever reason, you think we're fucking chaos, which we are. You want to hear more about our dogs. The biggest thing is just go to CaptainManicorn.com. From there, you can obviously choose your network, whether you want to watch us on YouTube, listen to our podcast, Adventures of Captain Manicorn, follow us on Instagram for our daily stories.
Email newsletter. We send out blogs. We know everybody likes to receive their content differently. Me personally, I like to see photos on Instagram and I like to read blogs, right? So I don't necessarily like YouTube, but I like podcasts because I can do other things. So that's why we have various methods that we share our content, using our blogs, using our galleries, using our website, using social networks, so you can receive the content in whatever way you like the best.
But what I would say is the one call to action is go to CaptainManicorn.com. From there, you can choose how you want to have it. So go to www.CaptainManicorn.com.
Cool. And justcaremore.com, that's the nonprofit that's still going?
Just Captain Manicorn is a sister company to that. So justcaremore.org is a 501c nonprofit. So Captain Manicorn is a parent company or sister company. I don't know how it works. It's a company below it because everything we do is essentially to give back.
And if you want to get involved with our Feed Astray and maybe help the upcoming shelters that we have coming up this month, you can always go to CaptainManicorn.com and click on the Feed Astray to learn a little bit more about that and get involved.
Cool. Thank you guys for your time. Next time we can continue on in person. If you can make it past the high Norwegian seas, then find a way to make it happen. But appreciate you taking the time here to share your stories and just being, just so authentic and honest with everything. And good luck, flying over K2 and, driving vans to Portugal and whatever, all the things you got coming up. And look forward to staying in touch with you guys.
Thank you guys, all the listeners out there, for giving us the opportunity. And thank you, my man, for having us on your show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Take care. There you have it. Special thanks to Jamie and Sandra from CaptainManicorn.com for stopping by the show. Wishing them the best of luck as they continue to chase their world record and their travel dreams. You heard about the reality of their journey getting to travel. Everybody's journey is different, and I'm always fascinated to hear that transition to travel and how people managed it. I want to take a moment to remind you of two things quickly. First of all, a quick thanks to KPAC Fam for the 5-star review. Vicariously Traveling. They said this show keeps getting better, loving the guests and topics, especially the gap year episode, because our family's considering a gap year or at least gap summers, and we have a junior in high school. Love to visit places by listening as I walk on the treadmill. Imagine being somewhere else or planning my next trip. Thank you for that review. If you haven't taken time to leave a review and you want to do that, always helps the show get out there, which in turn helps more people travel. That's the idea for the show, helping people travel on their terms. And I also want to invite you to get in touch. You don't have to leave a review. You can leave me a voicemail, drop me an email, share some tips on travel, maybe your best travel tip. Just let me know what you're up to. Say hello. It's all good. I would love to share more from the community, but I need to hear from you, and I don't want this to be a one-way conversation. So just another reminder to please get in touch, jason@zerototravel.com. But my preferred message is a voicemail. So if you have 90 seconds, you can click that link in all the show notes and leave me a message, and I will send you a personal message back because I love to hear from listeners. So just wanted to give you a quick reminder there. And I'm going to share a quote I found when I searched quotes on tenacity. And I found this one from F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I will leave you with this. Never confuse a single defeat with a final defeat. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Peace and love to you and yours. Cheers.
This podcast has been brought to you by zerototravel.com. Ideas and advice to make your travel dreams a reality.
Hey you. What you doing? Scrolling? Doom scrolling? Looking at other people's vacations? Miami, San Diego, Cancun? Okay, what about you? What places will you go? Expedia is the one place you go to go places. Your trip can earn rewards which you can use towards your next eligible stay. Soon, people will be doom scrolling you. You'll be that friend's friend, but with rewards. What are you waiting for? Expedia, the one place you go to go places. Terms apply.